Hi, how are you? Thanks for listening to the Good Enough Human show on Circulate Radio in association with We Are Chester. We've got a variety of guests today telling us about incredible work going on in and around the city, including Fallen Angels Dance Theatre, Chester Pride and eco communities. Please do stay tuned to find out more about some of the incredible projects that they are working on. And if you want to hear even more extended versions of our interviews, then please take a look at our podcast, The Good Enough Human, available on iTunes and Spotify, and also Podbean. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoy. Hi, welcome to this edition of the Good Enough Human show and podcast. We are a podcast and we're also on Circulate Radio, Chester's community radio station. And this week we are fortunate to have two special guests from a unique theatre company based within Storyhouse in Chester. They are the company in residence at Storyhouse. They are none other than Fallen Angels Dance Theatre, who work with people in recovery for addiction to drugs or alcohol, or they may be battling mental health adversity. They do incredible work, and we thought it was about time we got them onto the show and the podcast to tell us a bit about what they are up to. So we have Claire Morris, who's the chief executive, and we have Paul Bays-Kitcher, who is the artistic director, and myself and co-host for this episode, Paul Crofts, will be chatting to Claire and Paul to find out more about the amazing stuff they're doing, including their latest project together while apart, which is very intriguing. Welcome to the show, Claire and Paul.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Nice to see you again.
Good to see you too. Yeah. Even if it's virtually this time, Paul.
Yeah.
We should say that a few years back now, I think we're right in saying, we interviewed you, Paul, face to face. Those were the days at Flipside Community Radio.
I really enjoyed it. You made me feel very welcome, so thank you.
Oh, we loved it. We absolutely love it.
Paul, it's lovely to have you on the show again. Welcome to you, Claire, too. It's great to have you both with us, albeit, as Angela said, virtually. One thing we were having Angela and I were having a chat before we started recording, and we've realised that Fallen Angels is 10 years old this year already. Is that right?
That's right, yeah.
That's an amazing. 10 years has gone by in a flash. Can I ask you both, actually, in the 10 years since you founded Fallen Angels, is there any sort of special moments that stand out for you both in terms of events you've hosted or things you've been to with the company?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've got a few, but I mean, one of the main ones recently was when we performed for the Queen at Storyhouse last year. Was it last year? The year before? 2 years ago.
I think it's about 2018 now.
Right, yeah. So yeah, and I remember Alex Clifton, the director of Storyhouse, he said, we've got some very special guests come in, and I was thinking, it might be William or Harry. And then the day before he said, because obviously we had to have security checks, the day before he said, it's Her Majesty the Queen. I was like, wow, okay. And he said, your group are going to perform in the lobby bit, and would you mind speaking to her and introducing the group and telling her what we're about, kind of thing. And so yeah, it was that was quite a standout moment for me. I just remember standing on the balcony, and I was next to Meghan Markle and then the Queen, and then Claire was at the other side, and we were just peering over watching our group perform. And it was just one of those moments when you just think, is this really happening? You know, because when I was at Birmingham Royal Ballet for years, we performed, I danced for Princess Diana in rehearsal, and Princess Margaret was our patron. So she used to come quite a lot. But I never had the opportunity of speaking to the Queen, or I've never met the Queen. So it was just, they say in recovery, things happen beyond your wildest dreams. That was one of the moments that I remember recently. Yeah, I'm sure you've got.
Yeah, no, I think when you just said that, Paul, a standout moment, that was definitely the moment, really, when and for us it's always about our participants in recovery, and for them, I was kind of, all right, yeah, the Queen, yeah, in the lead up to it. But it was one of our participants just said, this is going to be the most important day of my life. And I just thought, wow, amazing for him and amazing for the group. Amazing, really took me off guard at how special it was actually in reality. But yeah, for our participants to be in a situation where they're performing for the Queen, they never would have imagined that in their life.
Yeah. And one of the participants that you're talking about, his name was Frank. And I remember, this is a standout moment for me, being in the studio with the people, the inspirational people that we work with. And we were doing this project in Art and Soul where I used to go there every week and deliver a movement session. And there was this guy in there, he was an artist, an older guy, very tall, very kind of, he was like a genius, wasn't he? He's like really switched on and that. And he got into the space, he was like, you're not getting me in a leotard like that, proper. But I said, well, just come in and draw the dance. Do you know what I mean? Draw it. So we had him drawing. And then I said, look, we've got a session on at Blueco in Liverpool, because we've got a group in Chester at Story House, and we've got a group in Liverpool and Lee as well. And I said, why don't you come over and start drawing over there? So he was drawing for 6 weeks. And then Claire had a genius idea. Why don't we put him in the piece? So we had him in the piece as this artist drawing these pictures, and the dancers were responding. And at the end, he kind of just ripped through it, and then he kind of walked off, and he had this amazing stage presence. And then the week later, I was in the studio, and usually sitting in that corner, and he put his pad down, and he just took his shoes off, and he joined in. And from that moment on,
wow.
It was for like about 5 years, and he was incredible. I remember Alex Clifton saying that when you say fallen angels, he pops up, because he was just an incredible performer. He really struggled with his mental health, and he passed away recently. We had his funeral last 2 weeks ago, which was quite sad. He has severe COPD. So it's quite sad. But I was with his sister today, helping clear out his flat, and she told me that he had really a lot of early like childhood trauma when he was younger. He went through so much, because I think his mother died. He was the ninth child to be born, and his mother died 2 days after. So his introduction to the world wasn't great. And he went through all this trauma, and she said the last 6 years of his life was the most peaceful, because he was in Broadmoor Hospital, he was in psychiatric units, but he found the movement, and she came to see him perform at Story House, and she said you could see like the trauma being released through the body. And that's obviously how we work, is like how the body can heal the mind through certain movements. So that was a really, really standout moment for me. And he was the guy that performed in front of the Queen, and he was like, this is the most important day of my life.
Wow.
Took it really serious. And what an amazing person, we have the privilege of working with some incredible, inspirational people, and his memory will live on, definitely. Yeah.
What an amazing thing for you all to have done, and what an amazing thing for that gentleman to have, for you to have sort of brought that out of him, and for him to do that performance. That's incredible. Was Her Majesty interested in sort of how the group was founded, and what your sort of plans were going forward? Did she have anything to say to you special about the work?
Yeah, all I said to her was that we'd done a project with Tom Harrison House, who were army veterans in recovery. We did a really amazing project with them that performed at the Capstan. And she said, she was like, wow, she said, does it help them? And I was like, yeah, it was unbelievable. And what an amazing project that was. And what else did I say? I said I was at the Was it the Royal? Oh yeah, I said I'm at the Royal. I was at the Royal Ballet School and the Royal Ballet, Birmingham Royal Ballet, and she was like, "Oh, were you?" Like really intrigued, you know, and eye contact and that really lovely. And then I said, "I'm also in recovery as well," and you know, like trying to put the two together, like a ballet dancer that's in recovery, that's an addict, that's helping. Do you see what I mean? So yeah, you don't get many kind of ballet dancers that are in recovery, I don't think. Yeah, so I mean, she was like really lovely, wasn't she? And you spoke to her, didn't you?
Yeah. So I just really explained about our relationship with Story House and how, you know, what we normally do, and she listened very intently, and then I, you know, welcomed her to watch, and both her and, you know, Meghan Markle, they were really really fascinated and curious, and then they sort of said, so how old, you know, there's a big age range here. And then they were like, oh, how old are your participants? And I said, well, we've got today dancing, the youngest is 24 and the oldest is 71. Wow. And they both were like taken aback, because what we do is really physical, and they're as fit as, you know, everybody at Fallen Angels really goes for it. It has huge, how do you say it, intention and drive to their movements and power, and so yeah, she was really taken aback at the age range.
And also, she was only meant to stay for like a minute, and she stayed right for the whole thing, didn't she?
Yeah.
To the end. She said it was about 4 minutes.
Wow.
You could see them both like looking, you know, because when you see people move, especially people that haven't been trained, that really connect with the soul and the spirit, and you know, that kind of energy that comes out, it really kind of transports you, and it really hits you. So they were really kind of hypnotized, mesmerized by some of their movement quality, and beautiful.
So I think we held up proceedings a bit.
We did, well,
people were kind of waiting, you know, for her to come and all of that. But it was amazing, and you know, we're really grateful.
We were quite giggly, weren't we?
We were, because you know, you don't know, you just can't imagine a moment like that, and how you'd respond, and also, I don't know, like, I was really surprised at the aura the Queen has. It really takes you aback. She's a huge presence, such a tiny woman, but a massive presence. So you really feel like you're in the presence of somebody very special.
Lovely as well. I didn't feel like, as soon as I took a hand, I didn't feel nervous at all.
No.
I was more kind of quite excited, really. But like you say, you know, it's very kind of Story House to give us that opportunity, just, you know, to let the group perform. And, you know, I mean, it was something that Frank used to talk about all the time. So it's it's creating those absolutely amazing moments that, you know, the people that we work with have come from the depths of hell, and then all of a sudden they're performing for Her Majesty the Queen, you know, which a lot of professional dancers that have trained for years never get that opportunity. So it was a really, really special moment, especially Frank. That's why I had to tell the story about Frank, because that was his journey, where he came from, and there he was a few years ago.
But now, you see, now we could talk for, we've got 10 years that we could talk about.
Sounds like you could write a book about it. We could do a whole documentary on you with all the amazing stuff that you're doing. And I'm conscious of the fact that we've got sort of limited time. So can we ask you about, now I'm particularly fascinated as well, I saw a quote from you, Paul, talking about Eckhart Tolle, the power of now and mindfulness, and how that has been involved and helped inspire you in your latest project, Together While Apart. Can you tell us a bit about what that's all about?
Yeah, of course. Recently we've done a project called Together While Apart, and in that project we've done a performance film piece called Doorways. And the reason why we called it Doorways is because I've heard a lot of our participants, when they can't get to the groups, they were like, oh, I couldn't get out the door. And basically, it's not they can't get out the door, it's the fact that they're trapped behind their mind, you know, because of fear or anxiety, because a lot of our people suffer with mental health, and for them to even get out the door and get to a group is like a massive step for them. So, and because we've been all locked down for the last few months, a lot of people will be able to relate to kind of being isolated and that feeling of, you know, sometimes when you go out and things get back to normal, it can be a bit overwhelming sometimes. And so so we did this project called Doorways, and the doorway becomes a metaphor for the mind. So if I can't go out the door, it means I can't get out of my mind. And a lot of the stuff that we do is getting out of the mind and into the body by using certain breath work and being in the moment. And that's where the Eckhart Tolle book comes in. I think Eckhart Tolle is just an amazing writer for kind of calming down the mind and getting into the body. He talks a lot about the pain body, which is the trauma from the past, and how we can release certain energies which will heal. So we looked at that in the actual piece as well. And then I think we had a photographer that went around socially distanced towards the end, and they did some pictures of people in doorways, and like to try and show what they'd been through or what they were going through, and how they kind of escape their own personal barriers by meditation. A lot of stuff we do is meditative. You call it dance, but I'd say it's more movement meditation. And seeing how the body, the trauma of the body, releasing that and healing the mind. And by doing that, you escape the mind, and so therefore you can go out the door and you're free. So it's been a great project. I mean, we've had like 5 groups a week. I thought I was going to have a nice holiday, but I had other ideas. No, I mean, I love working with the groups, but
But this is over the whole year.
Over the whole year, yeah. We usually do like 3 groups a week. We stepped it up to 5.
Gosh.
Which I'll talk about the guys that have come to do the talks with us. We've had guests, haven't we?
Great, yeah. So what happened when we locked down in March last year? Nuts year. And we just, you know, we are so committed to our community that we just sort of immediately said, don't worry guys, hang on in, we're going to do this together. And that's why it came Together While Apart. So we've been Together While Apart with 50 people in recovery across the Northwest on through Facebook, but also on Zoom. As soon as we could get on Zoom, that was just amazing. Yeah. So Paul's produced 3 videos now. So the third video, the Doorways film, is going to be, I think it's premiering tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the 24th. So I think by the time this podcast goes out, it will be out and about in the world. So you'll be able to find that on any of our channels. We're on Twitter, Facebook, all of those.
YouTube.
But on our YouTube channel, you'll find all 3 videos. And at the start of the year, you'll see our Together While Apart film is very much about, we're here together doing this, you know. It's all very messy but marvellous. But then we tried to, as we went along, you know, as we realised we're here for a while, we then started to think, okay, well, normally we really have a professional approach, so let's see what we can do next. So that's when we moved to Paradigm. We looked at chess and explored how social distancing really feels like we're all in the chess pieces. Okay. So that was our second film. And then Paul just talked about the Doorways film. We are very grateful for funding and for our funders. So Cheshire Community Foundation, through the DCMS funding for COVID-19, and Steve Morgan Foundation, as well as the National Lottery. And at the beginning of last year, we also gained some funding from Arts Council and to really develop our organisation, and that's called the Elevate programme. And we've just received another announcement of some more, in a little boost, a very big boost actually, from Arts Council again, Culture Recovery Fund. So we're just so grateful, we can't believe it. And what it means is our organisation's expanding. ultimately.
Fantastic. Oh, that's
That's
good
great
news. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
We are working towards a 10-year birthday celebration at Story House. So, yeah, we hope to have 2 evenings at Story House. I know everybody's thinking, pending restrictions and all of that. We know. But we're, I think you've got to stay optimistic, don't you, and work towards things.
Easy date to remember as well, the 5th of November.
Yes.
I just find your enthusiasm for what you do and the love for what you do is just incredible. And the number of people you must have helped in those 10 years is just an amazing thing to think about. It's just fantastic. And I think we're all looking forward to your 10th anniversary celebrations, and I'm sure they're going to be absolutely fantastic. It's such a great project. And if people wanted to find out a little bit more about Fallen Angels, how can they find out about you? Do you have obviously social media and website and that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, we're very excited because we are going to be launching a new website at the end of May. So that's very exciting, and part of our development is trying to find ways to include people more with Fallen Angels. So we're trying to reach out and expand. We hope to be at the end of May and June launching a friends scheme so that we can, I think for the price of a cup of coffee a month, if you sign up, then you can just get to know us better and keep in touch. You can support us and all of that. So there's a few ways. There's our social media, as we talked about. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, all of those kind of places. We're going to have our new website. Our current website is fallenangelsdancetheatre.co.uk, and you'll be able to find my contact details there. I'm the main point of contact. But you can also sign up to our newsletter, and then you'll receive quarterly updates. And I would really encourage people to do that, because that really gives you, we often share things on our newsletter that don't really go out so much, sort of insights and whatnot.
Brilliant.
Sure.
Thank you so much. We've covered a lot of ground there. We could have covered a lot more. We'll have to get you back in, hopefully, at some point, if that's okay. We'd love to have you back on the podcast and share again.
Yeah.
Right, now on our Circulate show, we have another very special guest, Warren Lee Allmark from Chester Pride. Obviously, lots of stuff coming up this year that's a little bit different to how it was perhaps planned to be, going back a few years pre-pandemic, but there's still lots of great stuff going on. So Warren is here to tell us more. Welcome, Warren.
Thank you very much.
Warren, it's great to have you with us on the programme. And I know from social media that Chester Pride have been really, really active this year in trying to sort of engage with your supporters and friends, obviously because you've not been able to have events in person. I know you've been doing an awful lot of work virtually. One of the things I have seen on social media, and it looks really, really exciting, is this new cafe and community space that you're setting up soon. Are you able to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I mean, we're still in the planning stages. We actually go and visit the venue on Wednesday to have a look around it, and hopefully, if all goes well, we'll be able to put a formal offer in, and we should be open sort of in June time. The idea came about a couple of years ago now, that Chester, as an LGBT sort of city, doesn't have a lot of LGBT safe spaces. Obviously, we've got a few bars and venues and stuff. But for Chester Pride, it was key that when I took over as chair in 2018, 2019, that we moved on and we tried to be an all year round Pride for everybody and offer a safe space. So the cafe was an idea that came up, and we've progressed on this for 2 years now, trying to get it there, and we're nearly there. And it's just really frustrating because the pandemic obviously has really thrown the brakes on this, and we would have liked to have been open by now. But the premise of it is it's a cafe that anyone can come along to, and there's food, drink, as you'd see in any cafe. But the community safe space side of it will be that we offer sort of a safe space to anyone and anyone, and that's not just people of LGBT backgrounds. That's people of any background, really, anyone that's in need of support, a safe space just to take 5 minutes out the day. And the cafe will be, it'll be filled with different things. So we'll be the first LGBT plus library. So there'll be a catalogue of over 750 books that touch on LGBT subjects of all ages, for youngsters to our elderly community that can relive history, relearn history, for people of all ages to get involved, really. So it's a really exciting project that we've been really excited to do, and we kind of we promote it as much as we can, and then we hit a stumbling block with COVID, and we're nearly there now, and it's a case of another couple of weeks, and hopefully we'll be allowed to announce the location of the venue and open times and stuff. So it's one of those. It's a bit of a tease that we don't want to tease you with, but until we sign on that dotted line, we've really got to tease people, and there's a lot of support coming now. People are really interested in where it's going to be, what it's going to be, and I'm kind of screaming at the screen that I want to tell you, but I really can't at the moment. But it will be an exciting project. It'll be one of many, many few LGBT cafes run by a pride in the UK and Northern Ireland.
Sure, that sounds absolutely tremendous. We wish you all the best with that.
Thanks.
I believe I've seen you've had a competition on social media to actually name the venue. Is that something you're about to announce soon?
Yeah, so with the cafe, the name, we wanted it to be something that the community have a say in. And some of the names that came forward were really, really great. And some of the names that came forward were not so great. So we've had to whittle a few down. We've had to look at copyright issues, have a look at, if it plays on any words that, would be unsuitable for the venue. And then we have put it to a public vote, which I think next Friday is the first round. It's been put back a week because one of the venues we're looking at comes with a stipulation on the name. So we're just trying to work around that. So what we've said is we're going to go ahead with the name competition anyway, and hopefully it will still be used at this location. We just need to work out the legalities of it. But if it's not, it'll kind of be given like its own name within the community anyway. The cafe that we're looking at already has a name that we have to use, but we will kind of work around that where we can. We don't necessarily think we'll be at this venue we're looking at the moment forever, so that's why the name is important, because it will continue to wherever we go for long term. But yeah, there's a thing. If you check out Chester Pride's Facebook and Twitter, the details will be on that. I think it's next Friday that we launch this one for people to vote on the names that have come through. Some are really good. There's some historical names there that are key to Chester and to our community. And then, like I said, there's some really tongue-in-cheek names as well, which is kind of cool. I've got my favourites, but I can't vote, obviously. So I'm just hoping the best one wins.
That's tremendous. I'm sure that Angela and I will be along for a coffee as soon as you're open. Definitely. Absolutely. Can't wait. It's really exciting. Really look forward to that. That's great stuff. Thank you.
Definitely. And it could be as soon as June then. Wow.
June is the plan, yeah. So we're working with the landlords to get it open for June. So there's a lot of frantic calls behind the scenes, and coffee machines being ordered and tables and chairs. There's a lot of work goes into this that people don't see. And it's, our office has been busy this week.
Wow, fantastic. I can't wait. And I was going to ask you where the location is, but obviously fully respect that you just can't say yet.
Yeah, it's such a prominent location, the city centre, that, it's kind of out there that this place up for tender. But until we sign the dotted line, we don't want to say it just in case we don't get it. If we don't get it, I will cry because I've wanted this many for years. But, we've got to go through the process like everyone, and we've got as good a chance as anyone. So... fingers crossed. Yeah, how exciting. That's brilliant news.
Okay, so another brilliant project that you do all year round, which really I just think is so brilliant, is the Just Ask sports service. Wanted to, for anyone who's listening now and might be interested in contacting you, can you tell us a bit about what the service does and how you get in touch?
Yeah, so Just Ask It. It's an all-year-round project that we launched back in 2019, and it's there to help people that identify as LGBTQ plus, or families of someone that is LGBTQ plus. So it helps with different things. Like obviously through COVID, we've seen a massive increase, and I'm not exaggerating when I say a huge increase now in people phoning up with mental health and suicide support. It really scared me that for such a small city of around about 80,000 people, this service has been really well used, which is great for us. But it's also really scary that this many people need this support. And I think in its first year, we've took over 600 calls, emails, and texts and things. And when you work out the population of LGBT people in Chester to that 88,000, we probably sit around about 2,000 or 3,000. So for 600 people to get in contact, it's quite worrying that, that support has been needed and it's never really been there. And that's not to knock anyone that's tried before, because there has been services in the area before. We are getting calls as well as far as North Wales, and Just Ask North Wales has now been launched off the back end of Just Ask Chester.
Wow.
Because there's so much need for it. It also helps with things like domestic abuse, which again, we've seen a huge increase through lockdowns with people being with abusive partners. And domestic abuse is always sort of, it's predominantly abuse towards women, and people forget there are same-sex couples, which, that it can have an impact on that as well. So for us, it's trying to get that message out there that, if you are in a toxic relationship, sadly, you're not alone in this, and it's not a unique thing to you. It is something that a lot of people unfortunately experience, but help and advice is out there and support. And then there's other things like hate crimes. I mean, we are a really tolerant city in Chester, and, it's very few and far between that we get hate crimes reported. It does happen. It's not to say it doesn't happen, and we're not going to paint this picture that Chester's amazing all the time. It's like any city, it has its faults. It also has a lot of community engagement, and people really do try and make Chester a great place. So the helpline was set up to help around all these issues and anything else. We've had calls from people that, their son or daughter's come out as gay or lesbian, and they've gone, I don't know what to do. How do I talk to my son, to my daughter? And this helpline basically just gets them in contact with people. It gives them the support. And it's not just a case of here's a fact sheet, up you go. We have ongoing support. So a few cases that we've had have been going on now for the year period, where we're regularly in contact with these people to make sure every step of the way they are given the support that they need. So it's a really good project we do. It's sad that it's 600 people have called in terms of, it's needed that much, but it's also, for us, it just stipulates that Pride should be an all year round thing, and it shouldn't just be a one-day celebration. And this helpline is doing that.
Goodness me. It's really, really powerful to hear what you say there about the figures and the difference that you're making. It's just, thank goodness that you are providing this incredible service. So if anyone is listening and thinks, they'd like to speak to you, how would they best get in touch, Warren?
So there's three ways, really. You can email. So a lot of people find that they don't want to talk to anyone physically, first of all, because they're scared, or they don't know how to talk about it. So it's really simple. It's just emailing justask@chesterpride.co.uk. You can WhatsApp or text in on 07718 066 684, or you can call us on 01244 257 602. It's not a 24-hour service as such at the moment, but we do try and answer calls, emails, and texts and WhatsApp as quick as we can. But the one thing I would say is, if you are in any sort of life-threatening, imminent danger, then obviously 999 is the number to phone, or 101. If you're in immediate danger. But if it's something that you just want to talk about, or you feel you can wait, then please get in contact. And again, it's worth stipulating as well with the service, you do go through to trained professional people. It's not just a random person at the end of the phone that's going to go, oh my God, so-and-so's phoned up and told me this. These things are confidential to the point that even as chair of Chester Pride, I don't get told the cases individually. So I don't know any, because obviously I'm quite known in Chester without blowing like a trumpet there, but people might think, oh, if I get in contact, are you going to know my business? I don't get involved. All I know is how many people have phoned up, texted in, and like I said, the team, Richard and Patsy that run it, they are there to help and support you in whatever way and however you wish to get that support.
That's brilliant. That's superb. And obviously, all of this costs money. If anyone listening wants to support you, how can they do that? Is there an easy way for them to do that this year?
Yeah, so there's a couple of ways, really. I mean, obviously, if you want to do it like a direct donation to the charity as such, we're kind of in three strands now because Pride has adapted. So we have obviously our event side, which is obviously the main Chester Pride event, which is normally in August. We then have our commercial arm, which obviously will be the cafe and any events that we do like that. And then we have the project side, which is things like Just Ask. We've got one called the Box Project, Take 5, Gather. There's 6 projects we run. If you go onto our website, chesterpride.co.uk, you can do a direct donation through a giving page on there. Or there's even rainbow wristbands that we've got where they're a £15 fee, and that gets you into all of our fundraisers. So you do get back from giving to that. You get discounts and things. And again, all this information on our social media and on the website in more detail.
Brilliant. And obviously we can't let you go without saying that the big event this year, which we're building up to, well, and there's another event that you wanted to mention, Warren. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
So Digital Pride obviously will take place on the 7th of August, which will replace the main event. And we did kind of get asked, why are you not doing the main event? Because COVID's, it's dying down now as such and things. And for us, there's a lot of issues around the 21st of June. There's no government support for events of our size, and we are a free event. So we are funded by public money, by taxpayers' money, by grant funding. It would be very irresponsible for me to commission an event based on that with no guarantee that can go ahead, because we would lose money like we did in 2019. We had to reschedule. We survived that, and then COVID hit. So for us, there's a financial element to why we didn't go ahead, but obviously the insecurity. And I don't want to put anyone's life in jeopardy, and I certainly don't want to put any pressure on the local hospitals and things, because we do attract up to 15,000 people on that day. And to put that pressure on the hospital, whilst they're going through COVID, is irresponsible to do for us. So we've not done that. And again, that's not to knock any events that happen in Chester, because they're happening with different reasons. A lot of events are ticketed, so they can control their numbers more carefully. Whereas for us, 1 million people could turn up, or 2 people could turn up. We can't control that. So it was important we went digital. And we're just going to replace that day with the content. So it'll be between 1 and 9. We're taking a TV sort of theme this year. So we've got a bit of a homage to sort of This Morning, to Loose Women, to Celebrity Juice. And we're kind of trying to go a little bit tongue-in-cheek. But obviously there's important messages that will be put out there through the day. And then the big one we've got in September is called Reflect and Connect. And it's, in a way, it's a small event of 2,000 people. And this is a ticketed event. Which again, the rainbow wristband, if you purchase them, it does get you entry to that for free. It's an event where you can actually come along and have a look at all the projects we've done. So obviously we spoke about Just Ask. The Box Project is one we offer free condoms and sanitary products to anyone and everyone across the city. Take 5, which is like a mental health, just have 5 minutes with a cup of tea and just chill out a little bit and go through some information that we send out to you. So all these projects are available for people to physically see. And then obviously there'll be some entertainment with, a few celebrity acts, a load of local artists that, we were keen to showcase. And it's just a case of saying, we've not been out for a year. And if you've struggled to engage, which, some people have, even going to the supermarket is quite daunting if you've not seen people for over a year. To put you into 2,000 people, it's a manageable number that's spread out across a large car park. So you're not going to, if you feel, oh, it's too much, there's plenty of space to put your arms and say, look, I need some space here. And it just gets people back to talking, connecting with friends that they've not spoke to over the year, making new friends, and just reflecting on the year gone. That some of us have had a really easy time, some of us has a hard time, and we said before about 600 people needing Just Ask. The really sad thing is, in 9 months, 6 people actually took their own lives from the LGBT community. So for me, I mean, it really upsets me. I get like lumps in my throat when I talk about this. This event is something that's needed. It will be that little bridge for people to go, do you know what? I've not seen friends. I can finally see you, and we'll only do it if it's safe. And we've said this throughout the whole of the way. We've got a lot of fundraisers. They will only happen if we feel that the roadmap is safe to do so. And if they don't, we'll address that as we go along. But we'd never want to put anyone's, personal life in jeopardy through anything, especially, the pandemic, which it's still out there. And things are getting better, but we've got to walk before we run. And that's what we're keen to showcase. Gosh, and that's devastating, isn't it, when you mention that the impact that this has had over the past year or so. Gosh, that really is, it's heartbreaking. I'm so sorry to hear that. And it just shows you how important it is to put on events like these. So, yeah, we wish you every success with it. It's thank you for doing all this. It's incredible. It's what we do. It's nice to be able to give back to to a great city. Really, it's something that everyone, whether you a member of the LGBT community or not, you should be proud that Chester is a welcoming city, and it showcases a city that it's acceptable of everyone, and that's what every city should be. And one day everywhere will be like that. We don't have drama around things, and we're getting there. We're not there yet, but we're getting there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, there's been so much that's been happening, with the last year. I've just been really impressed with the content you've put out on social media. I think it's been really, really impressive. I just take my hat off to you for keeping that momentum going across the community and sort of, making sure that you've maintained those connections, really.
I think it's important to do that. I mean, again, I don't want to sound like I'm slating any of the pride and stuff, but when COVID kicked in, a lot of pride sort of went, we're cancelled this year, we'll see you next year. And that was it. It was like, hurrah, we're gone. And for me, we have people, there was a survey done the other day and was released, I think, to the BBC, that LGBT people are more statistically likely to be depressed or suffer mental health issues than someone that's not LGBT. And I know for some listeners now that don't identify as LGBT, they'll be thinking, what's that all about? And it's a hard thing it's very complex. We've got this movement at the moment of anti-trans, that people that don't understand trans and non-binary people, and it's the thing that we do. If you don't understand something, your defenses go up and you question it and you push hate towards it, and we're seeing that now. And I think Pride has an obligation, it has a duty to stand up for these people, and stand up for people that don't have a voice as much. And even within our own community, we've got sort of, if you like, as a gay man, I've probably got more freedom than a trans man or trans woman does, because we're at different levels in society of what's accepted and what's not. So we focus on the areas that need a bit more support than others, but that's not to say we're not looking at everything. We're trying to get that balance right. And Pride in Chester it's got a massive sort of scope that we can educate people. And it's nice when you get families that come along and say, I didn't know this, or I've always used an example of an event we did in 2014 in the park. There was a group of kids on the front row that were shouting homophobic comments and stuff to some of the drag queens. And when we'd actually talked to them and explained things, at the end of it, they were like, we're so sorry that we did that. And two of them actually volunteered for us the year later, because they were like, we were 14, 15, we were idiots. And it's education. I've always said this, common sense is not common anymore, but education is so far behind on that people, if you don't understand something, learn about it. Don't put your defences up. And
oh, wow. And thanks to folks like you doing such incredible work as well. And you're such strong people, very tenacious and dedicated and hardworking. So thank you for everything you do.
We try. I mean, one thing I do want to quickly actually announce, which again, this has literally been announced today. We're actually up for a National Diversity Award for the third time. So we got nominated 2 years before, and we got really close. We got to the semi-finals in the first year in 2019, and we're hoping it's third time lucky. Just because of everything else we've done since then, we really hope that we get this award, and it'll just open a lot of doors for us. So it's nice for comments like yourself saying we're doing a great job. For us, we just do it. We don't think anything of it. But it is nice. It is a thankless job. I mean, my role is a volunteer. And a thank you goes a long way for me, more than a payment of a wage does. So it is very appreciated to hear those comments.
Oh, congratulations. That's fantastic news. Yeah, you should be incredibly proud. That's, wonderful note to end on. Yeah. So if you're listening and you do want to get in touch, a good place to go, I guess, is Chester Pride on the socials, on the website. We'll share some links as well. And thank you so much, Warren, for taking the time to chat to us. And hopefully you'll come back at some point and give us some updates.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, the cafe will move forward. We might even do a live broadcast from the cafe. You never know.
Wow. Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Right, so on this week's edition of the Circle 8 radio show and the Good Enough Human podcast, we have a special guest, Helen Tandy from Chester Friends of the Earth, and also director of Eco Communities, a community interest company that aims to make our area, Cheshire West and Chester, greener and cleaner, which sounds great. She's on the podcast and the show this week to tell us all about an exciting new project which you, our listener, can get involved with, we hope. Hi, Helen. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Angela. It's lovely to be here and chat to you.
Yeah, so kicking off, I've got to say, I'm no expert when it comes to eco stuff, but I know it's Earth Day and there's lots of stuff going on at the moment, and it's so incredibly important for us all to do our bit to help the Earth and to work towards tackling climate change, because it is a big, big issue. And I'm conscious of the fact that the average person like me might think, oh, well, what difference can I make? But if every one of us, I guess, did a little something, started to build up and do stuff, we can all make a big difference together. So do you want to tell us a bit about the project? It sounds brilliant.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've been in the eco world and environmental campaigning for such a long time. But what I really want to do is help the wider residents in Cheshire West understand, the fact that councils declared a climate emergency, but what does that mean? What does that mean, and what does that mean for them as an individual? And the good thing is there's lots of little things that we can do. When I redid my carbon footprint recently, just little things like putting the pan lids on was something that I'd forgotten about. And even somebody like me who sees themselves as quite aware, to forget over time certain things. So what we've done is we've linked up with an organisation called Geeky, who have a really great carbon footprint app. And what we're trying to do is explain to people what carbon footprint is, then also help them along their journey and really create a really friendly environment for them to make some changes in their own life to do more from an environmental point of view. And I think it's a little and often, I think, we can't all afford to go out tomorrow and buy a new car and buy an electric car. I can't afford to do that. But I think if we all do lots of little things, thinking about our electricity, have we turned everything off? Can we turn the thermostat down a little bit? Does the thermostat heating need to be even on this time of year? Because I do sometimes find with my radiator, we've left all the doors and windows open and find that, why is heating up? There's lots of little things we can do that I think, even those of us that think of themselves as being aware sometimes forget about. So that's what we want to do. So what we've done is we've launched Carbon Footprint Friends today on Earth Day. We've also got a really great little platform, which is a really nice, secure place that we can share and chat to each other as well, called Eco Communications. So there's loads of great information in there that people can find and read about. And you can chat to fellow carbon footprint friends about how they're doing on their journey and what they found out, and learn from each other as well. So it's going to be great. What we're hoping to do is we can see what everybody's carbon footprint is at the start, and we can really see how the journey is within the region and how much we've saved over the next few months. As part of that, as an extra bit of fun, we do have a competition. So if you join us over the rest of April or May, you've got a chance to win a £50 eco pack. So that will be lots of things to either carry you on your eco journey or start you off on your eco journey, to sort of help you along. So anybody that joins us over April and May has got a chance to go into that prize draw at the end of May to win that prize as well.
Excellent. That sounds really good. I mean, it is a bit, as I say, going back to me being a sort of average woman on the street, I wouldn't be aware of things like, do you mention something about putting a lid on your pan when you're cooking and simple things like that? That's brilliant.
It doesn't, these things don't have to cost money. And actually, some of these things will save you money. So, there are things within the platform that Joe and her team have produced for this geeky carbon footprint. And there's some really lovely ideas in there as well. So I've been using it at work. So in my day, I'm an ethical financial advisor for partner of a company over in Manchester. We've been using it as part of my carbon literacy training. So the team there have been using it. Some of us have been using it individually for the last few months. And it's, she's done a really fantastic job of writing this app, and really great little pointers and tips of what people can do, and explaining why as well, why putting your panel in makes a difference to your carbon footprint, why walking that mile to the shops is better than getting in your car. So yeah, I think people, it's a really lovely program. We want to say work with people, so we don't want to just leave people to go off on their own. We really want to support and help everybody out there in Cheshire West. And as a result of that, we've linked up with a lot of partners as well. And we're also potentially sort of saying to any community groups out there, if they want to join together and have their own little group on our Geeky app, they can do that. So I don't know, the cycling group out there might want to see what each other's carbon footprints are and see how they can change it over a few months. It could be anybody, any group out there, as long as they're a community group, a not-for-profit type organisation, might want to join together and have their own little separate group on there that we can see as well. And it could well become a bit of a competition between all of you in there. I know that the one at work, it's very aware that there's a couple of us that are very environmentally aware from our scores. And some of the rest of the team have got a little bit of work to do. And hopefully what that then does is we're supporting each other at work. Oh. And that's what we want to do with this in the community as well.
That's brilliant. So if I say later today, I want to get involved, how do I do that? How do I sign up?
Yeah, so we've got a link it'll be on our website. So if you go on to our Eco Communities website, and we'll have a page on there which will go live today. It'll be in articles. So it'll be the very most recent article on there. And the links are being there to apply to be part of our platform. And there's a few questions as well. We'll get you on our platform, then we'll get you on the Geeky programme as well as part of that.
Oh, brilliant. That's so good. Yeah, so I feel like I've got a lot to learn here, but hopefully, like lots of other people, I'll hear about this project and think, right, okay, what can I do? I want to find out more. And the thought of, it can be a bit overwhelming. Where do I start? What do I do? How can I make a difference? But to be supported, it's good.
Yeah, I think what I love about it as well is you can actually filter it to easy, doable and hard. So you can just say, right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look at all the things that I could do that are really easy, and that may be having 1 meat-free day a week, could be something that's easy. Something that's hard could be, giving up meat, going vegan could be hard. And you might think, well, that's not for me. But, we're not here to dictate what everybody does with their life, but it's trying to find things that can make a difference, but fit with you as well. I think that's the thing I love about it. It's not saying you've got to do all of these things tomorrow. It's saying, what do you feel happy to change? And once you've made one little change, you might go, oh, I've done that. Well, actually, perhaps I won't eat meat at all, but I'll still eat fish. So, once you start moving your way along, it's amazing really what people then will think about trying next as well.
Oh, excellent. It sounds brilliant, an absolutely brilliant initiative. So I'm definitely going to have a look at that later and get signed up. I may start off on easy. But...
And you know what, Angela, that's absolutely fine. Because, we don't live in a perfect world. We don't all live off grid, And so just lots of us doing little bits. If we can engage with as many people as possible in Cheshire West, and we all did just the easy things, that's better than just a handful of us doing the hard things.
Yeah, that's powerful, isn't it? And do you know what? I'm going to try and persuade my daughters to get involved as well, because I know one of my daughters was doing environmental activist kind of stuff at school at one point. So see if they want to get on board as well. Yeah,
that'd be absolutely brilliant. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, it sounds excellent. Right, okay. And before we go, thought we'd just have a very quick chat as well, in case anyone wants to find out even more about what you folks do. You have a weekly magazine show, don't you, as well? Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so when lockdown started last year, I was shielded. Well, I feel like I've shielded forever. So I've been shielded for most of the last 12 months. And I moved what we were doing sort of out and about in the community online. So I started last year in June doing online events. And for some weird reason over the Christmas period, I came back and decided, why don't we, rather than pressure ourselves too often to do like a 3-day event, why don't I just do something every week? So Tell Us TV was created. So Tell Us is the Roman word for earth.
Wow.
So it became Tell Us TV, and we're doing that every Tuesday from 7:00. We do that on our platform. The great thing about it, and again, you can find the link through our website. The great thing about it is what we're trying to do again is bring people along where people can find out about everything that fits in that ecosphere. But we've had community groups on telling us about their green projects. Last night we had Martin Land on telling us about the Mersey Tidal project. We've looked at hydro. So anything out there that people might want to find out a bit more about, quite a few authors. So it's a really brilliant Tuesday evening. However I feel on a Tuesday, because the team keeps saying, I don't know how you do that every week. I come off, even myself, feeling really enthused and really energetic, because there's some fantastic people out there doing some fantastic work. And I think really what I just wanted to do when we came back after sort of Christmas was just shout about it, give people a chance to, very much like you're doing with your podcasting and the radio show, give people an opportunity to talk about what they're doing out there, and for all of us to learn a bit more. And we've got one on hedgehogs coming up as well. So we've got Chester with us. I'm so looking forward to that next week on hedgehogs. They're great in a way as well, because we do them live so people can ask questions as well. But then also what we also do is, as soon as it's finished on a Tuesday evening, it's ready to watch on catch up. So it doesn't matter when you want to watch it. I know a lot of people sometimes watch on catch up. We have as many people watch it on catch up as we do live, to be honest. So a really great, energetic, and we're already into May now, booked up for speakers. So I'm sort of looking for people for June onwards, really. So the other thing as well, if anybody's out there and they've got a great community project that they want to come and talk about, it could be a food project, a growing project, anything, do get in touch, and we'll see if we can get you in the programme.
Excellent. That sounds brilliant. And that's once a week on a Tuesday
evening at 7 p.m. is Tell Us TV, yeah. But
and
again,
available on Catch Up. I love that. Isn't it great that we can do all this stuff? And it's brilliant what you're doing and shining a light, as you say, on so many good things. So, yeah, it's well worth a watch. And if anyone wants to get in touch with you, Helen, how would they best do that?
Yeah, if they email me, admin@chesterfoe.co.uk.
Brilliant. Okay. Right. That's absolutely brilliant. I'm going to definitely go and sign up later. I'm enthused. I hope you at home are too. And as Helen said, do get involved, do get in touch if you want to get on board with this. It sounds brilliant and we need it. We need to all do our bit to help the earth. Thank you.
Brilliant. Looking forward to seeing you on the platform, Angela.
Excellent. Oh, thank you so much, Helen. So there we have it, a bumper edition of the Good Enough Human show on Circulate Radio comes to a close. Many thanks to my co-host Paul Crofts, to Dr. Stephen Kenyon Owen for the amazing music which brings the podcast and radio show to life, and to our wonderful guests Claire Morris and Paul Bays-Kitcher from Fallen Angels Dance Theatre, Warren Lee Allmark from Chester Pride, and Helen Tandy from Eco Communities. And thank you for listening. We hope you will join us in 2 weeks' time. In the meantime, if you want to hear more of what we do, then please check out our podcast, The Good Enough Human, available on Podbean, iTunes and Spotify. Take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.